Call the work session. There we are. Good evening, everyone. And let's go right to our agenda.
Okay.
We've had the minutes of the last meeting for approval. May I have a motion?
I'll move to approve those.
A second on that?
I'll second.
All right, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, great, thank you. And tonight's, well, let's go to the table. We have one that there's a further request to table. Is that 20?
Yes,
The Fairport Mile? Okay.
Yes.
I'm not sure whose that is, but,
I think it's Marie's.
It's Marie's.
all right, so I'll make a motion to table that.
I'll second.
They're still working through with the planning board, and all parties concur that a tabling is appropriate. So we have a motion to table and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, second tabled application.
Sure, that's mine. We took care of seeker last month for this application. The town board did hear from the applicant, and I believe they were giving a positive for, based on this board, that they would allow the sewer line to go into private hands as opposed to town ownership, pending our decision. And so I'm going to make a motion to approve the variances as were presented in the application. Let's pull up my talking points here. There was no undesirable change that was found for the that was identified for the character of the neighborhood. The addition would be same color, similar character to the existing home, which is in line with the neighborhood. Making the garage bigger wouldn't fall out of character for the area. In terms of difficulties, the parcel is shaped crooked, and the way that tapers, and the house sits, or the structure sits on the parcel even more crooked now compared. So now when you do any kind of change, you really have some corner that's going to hit into one edge of a setback. And so for that, I think that it's difficult to do any design on the property that would allow for some improvement without requesting some kind of variance. So this variance isn't very large because it is just really the corners that are going into the sides of the setback. The rear of the property actually is still, the rear of the structure sits back farther, but because it's crooked, the addition will actually still be in closer than the existing house, if that makes sense. So
yep.
It's not sticking out any farther than the existing house, just that it's sitting on the parcel crooked. There weren't any adverse impacts that were identified for the physical environment for the neighborhood. And while it's difficult, and while this is self-created, I think a lot of it has to do with the orientation and shape of the property that is causing these unique difficulties. So I'm going to move to approve with the condition that the pipe is relocated within 12 months, and by the applicant, and the applicant provides evidence to the town engineer that the pipe was satisfactorily relocated to the town requirements.
And could I also recommend one other thing?
Sure,
and this
please.
all relates back to the September 26th meeting with the town board. That was 50% of what they asked for. The second part was they have a restrictive covenant placed on the property to ensure that any future owners are responsible for the maintenance and upkeep of that.
And that they record that.
That's right.
Perfect. Thank you.
I'll second that motion.
Okay.
That's a requirement that the town board's going
That's
to
right.
impose.
But I'd like to have it incorporated in
Okay,
the
here as well.
zoning laws.
That's good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
How do we word that? Future owners are aware?
The applicant this is from the memo here, the applicant record a document / covenant to ensure that the current and future property owners are aware of their obligation to continually maintain the pipe.
Yeah.
It's a recorded
Good
agreement.
job,
Got
Andres, good job.
Thanks.
All right, so we have a motion to approve with conditions and a second. Any further discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so let's go to tonight's applications to see if we need anything for clarification. It's not really but since we have 20 minutes. The property that the town owns, I don't even know the direction. What is
The town owns some property north
water
of this
management?
site. At one time, there was a 30-foot easement for drainage purposes along the back portion of this property. In 1992, the town abandoned that easement. We no longer needed it. We did a reconfiguration of the property. We built a berm there to protect the neighbors from the water to the north. We no longer needed the easement, so that's been abandoned. There is a 48-inch pipe, though, on the east side of the property that drains from the back to the front to the road. That has to remain intact, and there cannot be any encroachment, which I don't believe they're proposing.
Right, and that's
But there
basically
can't be
why they need to
encroachment into that
configure it.
To put the pool where they're putting it,
Yeah.
Otherwise, they could do it
in the back.
reverse.
We didn't think there was any problem with
Okay.
what they were proposing.
All right, any other questions for clarification on that? No? Okay, anything else to handle now? Very good. All right, then we will stand adjourned for about 20 minutes when we start the public hearings. Thank you all. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to a regularly scheduled meeting of the Penfield Zoning Board of Appeals. Tonight's meeting will take place in two parts. Part one will be our public hearing. We will ask the applicants or applicant to come up to that podium and give us name and address, and then explain to the board why the relief requested should be granted. After we're done with the public hearings and they're adjourned, we'll take a actually tonight we're not going to take, our plan is to not take a recess and to move right into the second phase, which is deliberations. We will then deliberate on tonight's applications and take care of any other unfinished business the board may have. Members of the public are welcome at both sessions, the public hearings and the deliberations. Although generally speaking, deliberations is a time reserved for conversations amongst board members with staff, and occasionally when things get real tough and sticky with legal counsel sitting there in the back. So very light agenda tonight, one application, and I assume everybody in this room is here on that application. So I do like to point out, the whole board likes to point out every month that we think the town does a great job of notifying people that live in the town and nearby applications that the applications are going to be heard, so those folks realize they can come in and speak about them if they like. And the town does that by asking the applicant to put a sign up in front of the property, which I'm sure you did, and by sending neighbors postcards if they live within a certain number of feet of the application. The town posts the agenda on its website and also here on the bulletin board. And again, for years, some of us have been doing this, and we think it works very well, and we welcome the input of any interested party on the application. So we appreciate that. And having said that, I'd ask everyone to rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And a little bit of trivia here tonight. I was listening, and I don't know that it's correct, but I was listening to a podcast the other day. What president inserted the words, "In God we trust" on the money?
I know this.
Well, then have at it, buddy. What is it?
Eisenhower.
He is, ding, ding, Dwight D. Eisenhower.
Used to be, he inserted under God.
Under God, and also in God we trust on currency. So
I'm old enough to remember.
I know you had the answer there, but you weren't quick enough, Pete. So congratulations,
You mean,
Mike.
I was old enough
You win something. I'm not quite sure what it
I
is.
started school, we didn't say it that way.
No kidding.
Yeah, no, that's,
Wow, when did you start school? All right, let's have the first ever.
when Eisenhower was president. How's that?
Very good. Okay, may we have the first application,
You
please?
may. Item number one, Tracy Tyra and Karen Arnold, 66 Pennicott Circle, Penfield, New York, 14526. Request an area variance to allow an in-ground swimming pool with less rear setback than permitted under section 250-5.1 F13 of the code at 66 Pennicott Circle. Property is owned by Tracy Tyra and Karen Arnold and is zone R115. SBL number 109.03-2-6. Application number 18Z-0052. Come on up. Please give your name and address and explain what you'd like to do.
Karen Arnold, 66 Pennicott Circle.
Tracy Tyra, 66 Pennicott Circle.
We're looking to, as you said, put in an in-ground pool. We understand that the code is a 10-foot setback from the property line. We currently have a shed that had a previous variance from a previous owner that is only 1.3 feet from the property line. We have no neighbors behind us. We back up to
Town land.
town wetland.
Forever wild.
And we wouldn't be infringing upon anyone behind us. So we're hoping, to have some lenience as far as that goes. So it would be a similar line as our shed currently in our backyard.
What's the dimension of the pool that you intend to put in?
16 by 32.
Okay. And what's the least amount of variance that you would need to do that the way you want to do it?
Well, we understand that it's after the 3 feet of cement that goes around. So beyond the cement, it would be 2 feet from the property line.
Okay, so you'd like a 2-foot,
Setback.
2 feet from the
Setback,
property line, an
yes.
8-foot variance from the 10-foot requirement?
Yes.
Okay. And have you tried to locate it in other positions on the property?
We've had we're using Northeastern. We've had them out a few times with their measurements and screwdrivers and
We're also restricted. The one
Because of
place
the
that we thought
easement.
of, we're restricted by an easement on the east side of our property. So this was really about the only location we could.
And it doesn't fit if you
Put it-
turned it lengthwise so that it runs parallel
No.
to the,
because
No.
we have a deck
Right,
as well that it's even a smaller area if we were to turn it the other way.
okay. And there's a little bit of buffering along the east side in the rear? Did I see some bushes there? Or-
No, those are gone.
Well,
No bushes are there.
no, but like in the very corner. I
Yeah,
did
there
take,
was-
do you want, I mean, I have pictures on my phone if you want to see what it looks
Well, no,
like.
I was there.
You were
so
there. Oh, okay. Yeah, that like clump, I don't think that's on our property. I think it's in our neighbor's
I'm not really sure.
property.
Oh, but it still serves as a buffer.
Yeah, it
Yes.
does.
Yes,
And what type of fencing are you going to put up?
probably
Wrought
a wrought
iron.
iron.
Or
Wrought
an
iron.
aluminum, wrought iron-looking fence.
Okay,
Wrought iron aluminum.
Yes,
Exactly.
wrought aluminum,
Aluminum.
iron looking.
yes.
Have you had any input from your neighbors that adjoin the properties?
We have our next door neighbor where they butt up on the east side with the easement, they're
In favor
actually
of
in
it.
favor of it, and they're like, wow, let us know how it goes, because maybe we'll get one too.
Okay.
And then our neighbors 2 doors down are here with us.
We're in favor.
Okay.
We'll let you put that on the record in a minute.
And as far as you know, would this result in any undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood? Doesn't sound like it.
I don't
No.
believe so.
Okay. That's all I have.
Andres?
I actually have nothing for this.
Okay, any other built-in pools in the neighborhood?
There's one that is right,
Yeah.
that backs up to 5 Mile
Mile
Line.
Okay.
And they actually have, they have a wooden fence around there.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you. Anyone in the audience care to speak about this formally, publicly?
Come up.
If you could give us name and address, and then,
David Oaks, 62 Pennicott Circle. As I said, we're 2 houses down from the west, and we don't see any reason why they shouldn't be able to have the variance, have the pool the way they want. We all have the kind of the same outlook, and it wouldn't affect anything about the neighborhood whatsoever.
great, thank you very much. Anyone else? It's free TV time, you sure? Oh, okay. All right, so I think we're all set then, and thank you very much. And that is the one and only application tonight, so the public hearings are adjourned. Typically, we would take a recess at this point, but we're just going to move forward. We're going to plod on, so to speak.
Okay. All right, well, with regard to seeker, I move that this is a type 2 action under seeker and no further action is necessary.
I'll second.
All right, on the seeker issue, any further discussion? All right, so we have a motion to declare this a type 2 action, and no further action necessary under seeker. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, I'm going to,
Not yet, you can raise your hand in a minute. Unless you're in favor of the seeker motion we just made.
okay, with regard to the application itself, I'm going to move to grant the request for the variance at 8 feet. I don't believe that it'll be an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood, which is the case for most swimming pools, and I think, given the fact that it's so open in the back, you can't even really tell where that rear property line is. I can't see where it's going to bother anybody, including the adjoining neighbors. Whether the benefit sought by the applicant can be achieved by another method, it doesn't look like it based on the survey map that I've seen and the amount of area they have and the size of the pool. If you're not going to infringe on that 15-foot drainage easement on the east side of the property, you almost are forced to put it where they're proposing to put it. I suppose it's substantial, but not prohibitively so. I don't think it'll have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions, and basically, it was self-created, but so is almost 99% of the applications we see. So for those reasons, I would move to approve.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion to approve for the reasons stated, and we have a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Done?
Okay, well, that takes care of tonight's matters. So we're all set, folks. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming in, everyone.
Have a good night.
Thanks.
You get some grief too.
Aye.
Going back to the agenda, I think we took care of the tabled matters.
Yep.
And any other business? I think we're all set. All right, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn then.
So moved?
I'll second.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you all very much. Very efficient.
Right.